Well, almost 10, 12, 13 years, and we have a hand drawing by a gentleman who knows something about a thing called the Rendlesham Forest UFO incidents, and that's the whole deal, almost the whole deal on that. And we got Peter. How you doing, Peter?
All right, thank you very much, Miles.
A long time.
Yeah.
And you've had a couple of problems. You've taken a couple of hits.
Oh, yeah.
And not everybody's listening to what you have to say, and that makes me very interested in what you do have to say. So, let's take it away.
Okay. Well, I had I did have a stroke in 2013, and but I was aware of something was I called tracking me. I was getting tracked, I felt, and there was a lot of activity happened at the time. I was at school, at Woodbridge School. I'm just going to leave off in October. I think it was the last day of October. It was a Wednesday, and I was looking forward to going home. And then I Skyped with Vicky when I get home. And that week was very busy because the school had broken up, and I was the only person on the grounds at Woodbridge School, and even the caretaker had gone away. So there was nobody else who was on the ground, and I was just going to my car for locking up the shed, and I felt just something hit me, and I just had lost half of me, and I managed to just get into the car and shut the door. It was about 4 degrees above freezing, and if I'd not made it into the car, I wouldn't be here now. I had 2.5 hours before the ambulance got to me, and had an out-of-body experience, and no worries for anybody who wanted to leave a body, and that was amazing. I was shown so much interesting. Well, I was seeing contact with beings and craft above me on that day, and I felt they were showing me to
put that down now.
Yeah,
if you want. Yeah.
put that down. And I was just being shown the levels these beings were coming from, because I was getting craft coming over me in that time, on that day as well, and I was getting also sort of like a download of information coming to me, but I felt that they were showing me, and I was seeing the levels that these beings were at, and I knew a lot. I had writing in the sky. These are right, and
okay, you've got those elements there. Could you explain?
Yeah.
I mean, these are bits of metal you found. They're not.
There was a piece of
from an alien craft. Right?
No. There was a grey piece of metal was sticking in the ground at the Abbey School, which was where they had the old croquet lawns years ago, a flat bit of grass, and this was in the ground, and all you could see is the top of this. And I pulled it out. I said, "Well, the kids have fallen, they'll injure themselves." So I took it, pulled it out. This all came out, and I put it in the shed. That's been standing there,
including this pointed bit. This
all part. It was all in one. It was all one bit, and just pushed in the ground as stake. And I was looking at the shape, and
is this from a fence post or something?
No, it's a croquet lawn. It's a croquet hoop, but they put the. You remember croquet where you put the flags in or something?
Yeah. Okay.
That's what that was for, and that was been there all the years. And I just said, well, hang on, that's the shape of that craft I can see above me. And so when I looked at this, my mobile I used to have with me bleeped, beep, beep.
That's your old one.
This is the mobile, and that bleeped, this one here. This is the one I had with me, and that bleeped, beep, beep.
It's a Samsung.
As a Samsung. And
S3, is it? Or 2?
Yeah, it's one I used to use to communicate and talking to my wife Vicky in Hungary and all this. So it was and it still works. So this bleeped twice. So I thought, oh right, they must be saying about this. So I put it in the vise in my shed, and cut it off. So this bit got cut off, and I thought, that's it, that's the shape I want. I'll take it. So I took it outside and held it up to him. I could see the craft above me, and I held it up on a, I think I put it on a mirror or something. I held it up, and this beep beep again on the mobile. It bleeped again, and there was nobody trying to get me because there was no signal there. But this bleeped again, and I said, "This is." So I've got the shape. They're saying yes. So I covered it with a plastic casing to give it the shape, and then I had it. I've got the model now I wanted. I wanted to build a bit, so I built a bigger model of this, and from there I built my craft, in which I put on top of the car, and
this looks so like one of the main ships in Star Wars.
Well, this one was showing me that these beings, they come, because I saw them writing one day when I was in Ipswich, and they said, "Greetings from Andromeda Galaxy." So I knew they were from elsewhere. And they were advanced, very advanced.
This is broad daylight?
Broad daylight, you can see them in broad daylight. I used to see them when I was in the town, walking down. You can see the craft, and you can see the little pill-shaped craft flying around the other craft, you know, the main craft, and there were little pill-shaped craft, which is like this little silvery little pill-shape, were flying around the main craft.
I mean, this is something which looks, for all intents and purposes, you're talking about a battery about the size of a little.
Well,
battery?
this scaled up to the craft that's in my lean-to there. That's the size. I found the size of this would have been, which is that size, which is well, that is a. You can see the size of make it of that, and these are flying about around the main craft, and they were. You could see them turning and whizzing around, but also they're the ones that were writing. They start writing in the sky, in the clouds around. You could see them writing words, sometimes numbers.
I mean, would they leave an after effect so you could see the whole thing? Or
yeah. I mean, sometimes it could be cloudy. It'd be a cloudy bit, and I used to look and point. I think, and they sometimes used to clear the sky, clear the clouds, so you could see all these rings, and they would be there, and. They would come through, and just you could. I mean, there was so much information, because even when I had I got some glasses made from Specsavers. Before I even bought them, they drawed in the sky my glasses, and that got PS, Pete's spectacles, or Specsavers, and then there's my glasses were drawn. In the sky, in the Abbey grounds, in the sky, just drawn, and that freaked me out a bit as well. But I just thought they can see everything ahead of everything they know, and so they were appearing, and then later on, I had the bigger craft appearing as well. You could see this and that shape of. That was a big mother craft, which was seen as well. But
that when you say big, what sort of big is big?
I wonder whether there must have been a massive. I don't know how big. I don't know whether this craft, how many these little craft can be fitting into that. Maybe I don't know. Or this is big in its own form compared with flying over the top. In the sky, and this one that came here was that size, and this must have been even bigger, and this must have been some very important ship, because it comes over us at many places. Westleton, we done a meditation just sitting on the ground, and we're also down towards Barrow Mound, going down to the not far, just away from Rendlesham. We weren't in Rendlesham, but there used to be a nice little place we used to meditate. and this craft appeared there as well.
Why did you meditate in that particular area? Do these
Well,
areas have specific
It
significance?
just felt so good energy there. There was good energies. It was between the Barrowman, where you go, because the Barrowman has a lot of good spiritual energies up there, because of even the monks used to be up there, the monks, and there's people buried up there. But this area was feeling really just at the right place, away from the American bases and the airplanes, and it was just a relaxing little place there. And we used to meditate there, and we used to get contact there. Always something above us used to appear. And this craft came up one day and appeared over us, and just sitting there above in the cloud, you could see the outline, the shape of it. And we were doing a little type of meditation. We got sort of sitting down, relaxing, and we could see the craft. I think we were doing maybe it was a healing of the planet meditation with Stephen Greer's work, the contact, CE5 work, and we were doing this contact work, and we were all 1 minute we were sitting on the ground. Next minute, we got drawn up. We were witnessing. Being on this craft, or with these beings on this long big table running. I think I got a picture over there, Miles. Yes, so this was the what we saw when we went to meditation. We were sitting down, then we were just next minute we were up into this like a craft. We could see where I was standing midway of this long table, and I think Vicky she was sitting at the table at the end, and this whole table was. It was like a browny, woody looking colour, the same what I've just drawn there, but all these seats all the way around was the same height, high backs on them, but there was all different beings. You could see them all sitting around this table.
Can you describe the physicality of these beings?
Well, they're all very high, I call very focused. They're all meditating, and all life forms. Most of these will be, what we could say, I call it, not so much, I wouldn't say ET, but they're just higher level beings.
Humanoid?
They're humanoid. They've got arms and legs and, same as what we are, but maybe you haven't got the hair, maybe they just got but they're all different sizes. Some are bigger and some are taller.
In the same way that we'd be all different sizes?
Yeah, we'd be the same.
But they wouldn't be outstandingly different?
No, but the thing is they were all focused by meditation. They're all as one together. The mind was just, there wasn't all scattered and nothing, but they're just all focusing all together, this group, all as one. And I was thinking, we're privileged just to be up there and just be with them. And you could see everything with this concentrating, so they're either concentrating on the healing of the planet, and helping and being here with us, and then we came back to where we're sitting on the ground, and we were up there for a little while, and we experienced this, and then we both got talking, and Vicky was describing, and I said, well, I saw the same, but I was standing, and I was resting my arms on on these chairs, my arm either side, looking up and down, and I thought, wow, this big table, and all these people. But they're all beings, were all different size, from different parts of the galaxy. I don't know where they're coming from, but they were all together. And Vicky was sitting at a table. She was sitting down at a chair right at the end. And we were just so amazed that we were allowed to share with what these beings were doing up here. And we were just up there for that time, just been shown. And that was really special.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And that was just like an instant teleportation, like you're 1 minute here, next minute you're there, but you could see it so clearly as well.
Were there other members in the group that you were with, or were you just with Vicky?
I was there with just Vicky, and we were just doing this little meditation. We were aware of what was flying about, and things were sort of moving, but we felt the energies are good. But this particular day, we just sort of made the effort like we have done before, and you have amazing things happen. This time it was a very special, very special. I think we've just been invited to join them, and I think we just made that brief little visit with them. I think that was very good to be allowed to view that with them, and to see this concentration they were all as one. So it left us, I don't know, we just so privileged to been shown. And this is what I remember.
And there's no other names or types or any other information?
No, this is
You just be
greetings, I suppose. Greetings from, yeah, they were all from, I don't know where they come from, whether they're all from one place or they all congregated through the galaxies, you know. But they all were.
Is there a particular number you've got there of seats, or is that just an illustration?
Well, this is what I could see of. There was many seats there was a long table, and there were all these people sitting around. So all the same height chairs. They're all the same height. There was no, but the beings were different sizes, and some are taller, some were maybe. There was one, even two, may have been a bit higher than the chairs. So there were sizes different. So there were different species of the beings, but they're all very, all focused together. That was very interesting. There's something but that has been always been this contact you get with them is so different from. There was nothing. You can see it. There was love and warmth coming from them. You can see this. There's no fear. There's no fear. These are the beings that want to be good and do good and send out good energies out. And this is what they're showing. And we always have done with these beings when they're turned up. Or when you make the effort, they come along and they also encourage you to do more. And if you can design something or come out with an idea, they do show you. They try and help you, but you have to make the effort to make a little bit extra, put in something else extra, and they'll continue to help you. Same as when I wanted to build the craft. This came through and they helped me in a strange way, because I thought, oh, they're going to make their craft, just beam it down to me. That's what I thought. But they just were hinting, and I had to learn that piece of metal, if you cut it in that shape, that'll be the shape of the craft. And I thought, well, I did that, and they were acknowledging me on the mobile.
I think the craft, would be safe to say, looks very like one of the first huge ships in Star Wars.
Maybe, but this is.
Like a lot of things, it's creatively different.
Yeah, this is just the outline of it. When I cut it all out and made bigger craft, I had it, and if you look in there, you will see it through there. Yeah. But that bolted onto my roof rack of my car, and that I could drive with my old. I had a Volkswagen Polo, and I had it bolted on, and I could travel with that on top 100 miles an hour, no problem, 100.
Yeah,
it was aerodynamic,
and
definitely, yes. It also stabilized the car. I could even go fast, and then that stabilized the car. It was this feeling of secure. It was even more secure because it just cut through the air. Also, it cut through negativity. I used to drive around with this, and people used to look at it, and they could see it wasn't a lunchbox, or it wasn't a top box on top of a car. They could see it as a craft, and that changed people's mind. It changed they could see, and that switched their mind for that short time when I passed by, or parents used to come up to the Abbey School. Oh, I like your craft. And I said, yeah, they were fascinated, and that switched people's ideas. And this is.
Do you feel that your mission was to do that?
Yes, I think this is what I was shown. I was going to, and this was switching people very quickly, because you drive by and it leaves a impression in people's mind. You go going on a road and see a craft go by on a car lit up with lights and things on. That's good, and they just switch their mind to think, look out the box. That's very good, because that just
like seeding something in their minds.
Well, what you're doing, this craft was cutting through the negativity, clearing the negativity of everything. It was just clearing it and leaving this wake behind it, this wake of interest and wow, yeah, wow. And people used to follow me behind in the cars and that used to look at this and they could see and they're fascinated to see what there was on top of it. That changed everybody's opinion. And I think that was a very, I used to even take it down to Rendlesham. I'd drive down there and drive around. People always say, what you got to, and they could see it.
So what about Rendlesham?
Yeah.
What's been going on since we last talked?
Well,
it's a long way. It's a lot of
Rendlesham
things.
is hiding, has been hiding. Also, there's been, I feel that Rendlesham is, I think it's better now because you have time to mature on all these things that have been shown there, and you can see through it more clearer, and there's more evidence coming out each time you look into it. I love looking over the videos. I keep going over and over. I play them again and again and again, and information, I start putting it together. I say, why were the stakes? Why did they stake these arrows off? Like I got here. This is of area 1, and this
Area 1.
Yeah,
and that's the area that doesn't officially exist, does it?
This is the area that doesn't. The landing site, but thank God that lovely lady of Georgina Bruni. And the
late Georgina.
Late Georgina.
And I'm afraid you don't have too much time for somebody who was showing her around.
Well, I will just show you this.
Certain ex-former member of the government.
Oh.
Misleading her as to where the landings were.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit of a... I was down that one day when they were filming down at that was at track... no, hang on. That was track 12. Down the bottom where the old suggested landing site was, there was Nick and Georgina and the film crew. I went past them, I acknowledged both of them, and they saw me, and I'm wandering down, have a little checking out the rest of the forest. And I walked by and I said I felt sorry for Georgina because the landing site, her book, I could have taken her.
This was before she'd written the book. This is why she compiled.
No, she written the book. She had written it, but she was down a few times more after this all happened. You know, this is when Nick Pope was sort of like taking her, because she couldn't drive herself, so she used to be taken down. But she was shown around the forest, and Nick was showing her just a basic looking pointing.
They were both MOD, but they both ex-MOD.
Yeah, well, Georgina was in a high position. She knew all the in the governments and the Maggie Thatchers and all the. She was rubbing shoulders with all the MPs and that, you know, the people. Yeah. She knew, and she had a lot of information. And she was, when I went and saw her in Knightsbridge in a flat, she showed me all the pictures and the information that she had, and I had a photograph. I'd done a photograph with her. I've got it on my. Of Georgina, and
I mean, she kept inviting me down to the cricketers' club and things, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make it. I think she passed away.
I felt sorry that she hadn't actually got to the area 1, but I told her about it, and she did write a little bit about it too.
But it's important that the book, you're able to use the photographs in the book to actually verify where you find all that.
Okay, let's get down
and
there.
that's probably where way back in 2006.
Yeah.
Why the trees were very low because they were
I can go with this first, then I'll go to the picture. Now, this is the book.
And that's signed by her.
Well, it's Georgina been writing it, but I mean, I got Mr. Holt to sign it when I was down in the Woodbridge. And he was willing to sign it, but he said, well, that's one of the really real sort of like books. You know, he was like to sign, but...
I mean, there's a lot of discord over Larry Warren.
I feel sorry for, because Larry, I feel there's a little bit more leading off this, and then just the landing site here in the book. There was something else spotted seen at the time, And there was a craft that landed. It came down at Woodbridge about the time. Ron Bowers and his daughter his daughter, they both saw the craft coming down over Woodbridge Base.
What time is this? What sort of era?
But at about the time of the 1980s UFO landing, this was at night time, and they could see this beautiful silver craft with lights going some way, and some going the other. So there was some going one way and some going back round. They were pretty colours, and they could see it from their bedroom upstairs window in Woodbridge, where they used to live.
Yeah.
And I went up, and Ron showed me where you could saw it from, and I looked from the window. You can see across the river, and you can see where they said this craft was coming down. He said to his daughter, because his daughter's a young, and he said, "What are the Americans messing about with now?" That's what he said. And that wasn't until later on that you started querying, what was this that landed? It looked array. It didn't look military. I think this is something. Maybe it was beings come down there to neutralize weapons.
Is this something that's officially recognised by the other people?
Well, I'm wondering where did it land? Did it land at the base? Did it land over the Sutton Hoo side of the river? It landed east in that direction of Woodbridge. So how far away it landed, I do not know. This is interesting.
Well, let's get back to reading.
Yeah, let's get back to this anyway. This is in Georgina's book. Now, there was a picture. These pictures now. Very, basic. You can see that. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Now, in her book.
This is the area where the trees are, which were then later cut down, which you find radiation.
Yeah, but this is the landing spot with the policeman.
At Area 1.
We call Area 1, and these array of pictures. I asked Georgina, can you send me one of the landing site? One here shows very clearly. It might have been this one here, I think it was, with it floodlit, and you could see the trees and there's the stakes. Three stakes of showing the landing, the area where it landed. And Georgina, lucky enough, she had the prints, and she sent me one through, and it was clearer to see from that. And I'll just show you that one. This is the one Georgina sent me through of the landing site. You will see it clearer there.
Yeah.
And you can see the stakes. You can see there's 3 stakes in the picture. I think you've got one there. You've got one there. And there's a third one over there. Well, these 3 stakes, or where the thing had landed, was you could pick up with the vinyl rods.
Yeah.
And the tree with the scrape coming down, it was this tree here. Was that one there?
You've got a whole lot to say about these scrapes as well.
Yeah, and the tree, which we found in Area 1, had the V forking branches, was this one here, and that married up to the same place in Area 1, and the ground was bare. There was radiation. I went back with a Geiger counter. There was radiation in where the 3 feet of this craft was, and the centre, plus high radiation facing into the landing site on this tree here, facing into the 3'6" up.
Yeah.
And there was also there was 3 more smaller indentations just in front of this one, which meant to say there was a smaller craft involved as well, come down and landed.
At least 2 crafts.
There's 2 craft, and plus the light all was in here, which is what's illuminating.
But you're saying there was a lot more other craft that night.
Yeah, there was more, because when I started doing the surveying of the whole forest, I realised there's more than 1 craft involved that night. And I think, did I just show you that picture? Yes, you did. This one, this is a very, very good, actually.
This is your hand drawing, summarising the whole thing.
Well, I wanted to get it down on paper, because I said so much information I got at the time. And I even sent one to Colonel Holt, so I put to Chuck Holt. On the top from Pete, and this was the landing site in Area 1. And what I found in Area 1, there was 1 craft landing just outside there, which was, I did find the stakes of this one, and I did go in there as well. With
And that's what these wooden stakes are you've got here.
well, this one is from Area 1, and if you look at where there's 4 of these stakes, all like north, east, south, west direction. They were put in each one, and in the centre of all these stakes was the landing site, or where these craft had landed. And
why do you say the landing site or?
Well, this one's the landing site where this one come down. This one was recovered, but these other craft also landed in the trees, and these were all marked as well. So they're all recorded where they sat in the ground, because they left radiation behind. That everyone had been radiated where they sat.
And there's more on the right there.
Oh, there's more goes along. This is just in the area where the trees were.
Now that fence is the fence of the Woodbridge.
Yes,
runway, but that's the north.
It's on the north side.
Yeah.
If you
so from the perspective of the east gate, that's left at east gate.
well, if you come in, off the road, because this is all map was come from Steve Roberts, which is now David Ingalls.
Why has he changed his name?
Well, that's his true name. David Ingalls is his real name, but
Why would he have two names?
Well, Steve Roberts was his pseudonym they gave it. I think when Brenda was doing the book, that was called. He wanted to be kept.
Okay, so just to protect his.
Yes, it was just
at
to
that
keep things above board. He didn't want to get to. But he first said to Brenda, it happened over there, and put it towards where the Area 1 is. And he also drew a map for Brenda, left the East Gate. He put on this drawing map, and there was a picture showing a black line, and it's got above that it got a black line. And it got left at East Gate. So if you turn left out of East Gate Road and go along this black line, which is showing on what he drew, that I think he was showing you the road, the other side of the runway, this side. And so what they were doing, he said, come out of East Gate and turn left. So, and when you come left, you turn again to the forest again, and you go heading sort of like toward the west. So you're heading towards Ipswich beside the base of the runway, and then you turn into the forest again, which is the left, and it's on the right hand side where this craft had landed. And this takes you right into Area 1. So I think he was actually showing the landing site.
So I mean, you look as if you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 craft there at least.
There's at least 6, because on the I got a video I done. You'll see it on there, and you could see these staked off areas all up along the forest. And near to the back gate, there was one landed where the TA Army was camping. They were camping in the forest at Bromswell, and a craft actually came over them. They say it sort of come out from the north direction. It came from the north, heading towards the base. He said that came over us and then landed near to the back gate of Woodbridge Base. And
which back gate is that?
The back gate would be the base.
The north gate.
North gate. It would be the north gate, and it was away along the base where they used to do a shortcut from. If you were on the base, you would cross over the flight line and go out through the back gate of Woodbridge. You can cut across to the Bentwaters, only about 2 miles distance.
Yeah. And
that's always a shortcut. The guards on the gate, or the guard who was secure on that night, would give the people the combination to get out the back gate so that they can cross over. But like Barrows, his job was John Barrows was to check on the back gate every half hour, an hour, something like half an hour, just to check, make sure it's been locked, if anybody's gone out. That's part of his job. From also the East Gate, the guard hut, I call it. It was not very big. It was only a little hut then, and East Gate was a little low fence. It wasn't a very high. You could straddle that. It was a small gate, but that just kept the vehicles from driving through without permission.
Yeah.
But 83, I think that was on a website. I think with Ian Redpath's website with these the Lighthouse theory, and he he got a picture of the east gate then, and that was in a small gate. So, and then Burroughs was in a little guard hut. He could see lights in the forest, but I think he went out the back gate of the Woodbridge base when he saw these lights in the forest, and he could see lights through in the trees, which very from the back gate would be only just on the edge of, because where he found the other trees, where the other things had landed at the base, were quite close to the fence there, and you could quite easily see them from the base, the lights of the trees and the craft sitting in the trees. But that was away from the public, that end, because there's not many people would go that end of the base. And at that time they...
So do you want to describe other parts of this diagram, how you've got it up?
It's here? Okay. Now I'm here. This is right, we're coming into area 1 from Steve Roberts' directions, and it would be coming onto this track here, and then left into the forest, which is here, and it's on the right hand side. But this is where this craft had come down in area 1, which is in Georgina's book.
Yeah.
Also, area 1 there was heavy wheel marks leading after the craft had been. They recovered the craft because they cut down 2 trees on this side of the craft was so they could retrieve it out of the forest, because the trees I think are planted. They are planted about 20 feet apart. So the craft that landed with about 14 foot. They had 14 foot. Impressions where these feet had landed, and the craft I think was picked up onto a low loader, because you see the heavy wheel marks. When it got to area 1, you could see they picked up something really heavy, and it carried on through out of the forest, out between the trees, because there was a gap between the trees where they can go out and come out onto the main road again, onto the track, which then they could come round on the track, which is it takes you around back onto the track 1, which would have come out onto the main road again, and then they turned up to Eastgate, then turned onto the base and loaded us on the plane.
Yeah.
There was a Galaxy,
which is that Galaxy
141 Starlifter came in. About 2 hours that night on the 27th, I think they come in
and I think the collective wisdom on that is they must have known that was coming to have that.
They were already there. They were flying from Germany, I think, when this all was happening. So they knew
it must have been prepped, ready to go, and was already in flight.
Yeah,
by
that
the
was
time
already
this landing
with the crew on board. The crew, I think, was on board without. They already had stakes and gear. And
so they knew what was coming in.
They already got geared up for all this. There was something that they were all had marking paint. They had paint and everything, different coloured paints for different areas, because area 1 had the orange paint on. This is on the east side of the landing site. So this stake was I pulled out, and it's got on the date on that was I've got it on here, pulled out in 2003.
That's years.
Yeah, and it's oak.
But how could it survive that long?
Because it's a hardwood oaks, and the ground is very dry and
sandy. So
it's sandy soil, and you've got a little. When you look at the bottom, I've got it wrapped at the bottom, but there's a little bit of little like rotting, but hardly anything.
And there's another one there.
Yeah, this was recovered after the trees have. This all got after they cut down the trees. This all got run on, and you can see the rotting. But that's as far as it got. That's oak, and that had all orange paint on it. But that got run over with the vehicles. And they cut down the trees and the forestry, and they mutilated the area, so you could not pick up all these stakes.
This was after the.
This is when they cut the trees down. Yeah. They cut them down, but
still some.
But the stakes were all in situ until.
Still see.
They're all in situ until then. They were all together, 46 feet apart, across one side to the other. So they had the men that came in the forest. They marked all these sites, different colour paints for different areas. Area 1 was this orange. There was one craft landed nearby in Area 1, which was one there. Then the Area 1 craft had orange
Are you
paint.
having the triangular craft plus another little craft?
Oh yes, the drone craft as well that landed down.
Why do you call it a drone?
Because I think it was unmanned, that one. It was a drone they could send down, controlled by the main craft. With a two-man crew, they were on board this two-man crew.
How do you know that?
Because the write-up with Brenda had, and talking about Dale Winton, he said he sort of worked on the base, and he said it was no. Let's see where I got that down here. Here. Just get this out of the way a minute. There was it was no UFO. It was a military craft. It was an experimental craft that got into difficulties and it had to land in the forest. And I think you got it here.
So there's basically a squadron of these things all landed.
Well, yeah, because 1977, the craft was spotted as well. A sixth craft was seen in 1977.
Same type of things?
Same type of craft, because when I had my stroke, I was in Adam Brooks Hospital, then back to Ipswich for another 2 more weeks. And when I was in the hospital, ward I was on, I had this gentleman opposite me, and I got talking about UFOs in the forest at Rendlesham. Oh, he said, we were chasing UFOs in 1977. I said, what do you mean chasing UFOs? He said, no, we were chasing these craft. We were camping in the forest
So just by coincidence, there was a witness to previous events in the hospital, which just happened to be there for you to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all a secret program going on. It was advanced technology craft that landed, and I think you'll find that they were hushing up as quick as they could, and they were trying to get it out of the area as quick as anything, to not be spotted.
And you've just returned from this in 2019 September, sort of celebration down at Rendlesham.
Yeah,
certain researchers get awards and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is the map of Steve Roberts done of the landing, and I think they were showing the road that it's got on there.
It's not hugely clear though.
Not clear until you read the bit that was about here. It's a turn left. I think you'll find. Yeah, turn left 3/4 of a mile, which would take you. So you left at Eastgate at 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
That would take you to the edge of the runway, and then to Area 1 or the road. Then turn into the forest, which is.
There's some other sort of.
Yeah, what he's saying. So what he was showing you here. This is the road, and he said turn left. You had to then come from the road into the forest. So you're heading towards Ipswich, then turn left. It's on the right-hand side. And I'm sure he was showing this area.
Yeah.
This area here. And
But there's some other writing underneath that particular document, some printing.
It might have been,
Prime Minister.